I told you there are opportunities all around you to close more business and earn more commission income that many agents are not simply aware of? What if you knew that you could gain more listings and double or triple your business with a few simple changes?
I'd want to know that.
I know, it's great. What if you could follow some simple steps in as little as 30 days? Open additional income streams to add to your current real estate business.
That sounds amazing.
That really does sound amazing. Pursuing opportunities to create your own real estate investment portfolio to build your financial future. Listen, many of us got into real estate for that very reason, right?
Exactly. Well, hopefully all these things sound exciting. We've shared these opportunities and success strategies with hundreds of thousands of real estate professionals over the last 30 years. And we've seen and heard the amazing results they achieve. We'd like you to be able to achieve these same results yourself. So in this 3-part series of videos, we're going to share these same opportunities and strategies with you to help you take your real estate career to greater levels of success.
I'm excited.
That is exciting.
Really excited.
Okay,
yes.
Hopefully you're excited.
Yes.
All right, what we're going to do first is we're going to take a quick look at one of the golden rules of success, kind of lay the groundwork for our discussion. And then in the first part of our series here, we're going to explore market dynamics and the shift in the marketplace that answer this question: why are there opportunities in new home sales? I think that's an important question to ask.
Very, very
In the
important.
second part of the series, we're going to dig into specific areas of opportunity, and we'll answer the question, what are the opportunities in new home sales? And won't you agree that this is an eye-opener? Many people just see one or two little aspects of it.
It's like an aha moment every time you share this. Yeah.
And then finally, in the third part, we'll take a look at some of the common beliefs to answer our question, what could be holding me back from pursuing these opportunities and maximizing my real estate success? All right, so if this sounds exciting to you, let's dig into this. All right, to get started, let's explore one of the golden rules of success. And that is, as the world changes, new challenges present new opportunities. You agree with that?
150%.
All right. Making the most of this reality is asking, how do current challenges impact our clients and prospective clients? Then we explore the role we can play in providing the solution. When we identify a problem to be solved or a need to be filled and then become that solution, that's when we achieve tremendous success.
It makes total sense, because if everything is going smoothly, you really never stop to ask yourself, why is it going so smoothly?
Exactly.
It's when things are going the way they are and the shift and things are changing that we do stop and ask ourselves, what could I do differently now in my business? And that's where the opportunity presents itself.
Absolutely. And think about how many people get frozen in their tracks, wallowing in, why is this happening?
Totally.
When are things going to get back to normal? The truth is, we've been at this a long time, and we don't even want to tell you how long we've been at this.
No.
And we have seen a lot of change.
Yes.
And there's no sense in wasting a minute thinking about, oh my gosh, things are changing. People always wanted to get back to normal. What the heck is normal? The truth is, embrace change. And I'll just give you a great example. During the Great Recession, seems like a while ago now, but we all know it was as if somebody flipped a switch in the business of real estate and shut down the business. And what about builders?
Oh my gosh.
Same thing. About a third of the construction industry went out of business. Heartbreaking. Lots and lots of real estate professionals were struggling to pay the bills. And sadly, we heard story after story during that time of real estate agents whose business stopped entirely and they ended up losing their homes and going into deep financial distress. Very, very frustrating. But what we did is we said, all right, what are the changes in the marketplace and how could these changes present some opportunities? And what did we find? Well, what about material costs, Sherry?
Material costs, guys, you were going to get great deals on material costs. On land cost, everything went down. So that was a perfect time to fund.
Exactly. So it was like a fire sale on building lots.
And contractors were available. Think about that. Subcontractors, you didn't have to go chase them and find out where the heck they are.
Subcontractors, builders, they want to put food on the table. So here was a window of opportunity. And we spread the word to our certified new home specialists all across the country. And we said, you know what? There may never be a better opportunity in the business of real estate, the business of construction, for someone to be building a new custom home. Now, we know an awful lot of people were out of work and a lot of people were struggling financially, but the reality is a majority of homeowners and a majority of people out there were doing just fine. And many of those were looking at this and saying, wow, I could get the best price, get a discount, build a custom home, ultimately maybe build a new custom home that we can move into. And what we found were that many people then held on to their current homes. They moved into the new home, held on to the current home as an investment property, a rental property, at the very least saying, I'm going to wait until we come out of this recession, home prices rebound before I sell that property.
You know, it was really great too, because the certified new home specialists, the ones we've worked with, they knew the opportunities were out there. Many of the people they contacted didn't even think about, hey,
Exactly.
this is such a great time. So that was just like low-hanging fruit for them.
Exactly. So what they did, now think about it, these folks, not only did they have the skills in the new homes arena, but they had the relationships with the builders, right? They had an audience of people. Many of them had folks who had expressed interest in building a custom home but hadn't quite moved forward. Some of our folks out there told us that they've had the best years they'd ever had in their career in real estate because they were connecting these people with good builders, small builders, medium-sized builders who were happy to have something to do to keep their businesses afloat. So again, a time when things looked impossible, there were great opportunities. And I remember one of our certified new home specialists up in the Minneapolis area actually grew his business so substantially that he actually started his own custom building division, ended up practicing real estate at the same time, became the head of the Builders Association in the greater Minneapolis-St. Paul market area, and ultimately for the state of Minnesota. So amazing things can happen when you just take that mindset. So let's take a look at our current marketplace. Let's take a look at the shift. Let's take a look at some of the market dynamics that exist right now. Right? And many of these market dynamics are going to exist for a good long time that present amazing opportunities.
Sound like you said another word other than shift. Just saying, okay? And I'm sure you guys can relate to that, okay?
So, some people get so wrapped up they're shifting all over themselves.
That's exactly. So number one, we have an overall shortage of housing.
Okay, since the Great Recession, when builders stopped building, things slowed down, we found that household formation slowed dramatically. We had a few years where we lost roughly 1 million household formations compared to a long history of about 1.3, 1.4 million household formations a year. That's dramatic. Now, what happened? Did these potential household formations dry up and blow away? No, these people still wanted to get out, have their own household. Many stayed at home with mom and dad. Many people, we had what I call reverse household formation. There were people moving in together, brothers, two brothers or sisters in their family.
That didn't even like each other.
They didn't like each other.
They still don't like each other.
Some of them are probably still there and like each other even less, but we still have a pent-up demand. Now, the analysts, the National Association of Realtors, National Association of Home Builders, Harvard University Joint Center for Housing, other economists and analysts out there have weighed in on the fact that we still, at this point, have a shortage somewhere in the range of 3.5 million to maybe 5 million housing units across the country. Builders have been working hard to increase their production, catch up with this, but certainly we've had changes in interest rates.
Hey there, friends. If you want to tap into new home sales, this tool is a game changer.
The free new home market analyzer shows you what's being built, where, and by whom in your market area in seconds.
And no digging through data. Just type in your zip code. It's free to use. Follow the link below to register and get started instantly.
We've had other affordability factors, but the point is there's a long window of need here.
It's really actually very, very good news. There is a lot of demand still.
There's a lot of demand. This demand's going to go on for a long, long time. And the question is, when it comes to simply new housing units, where do they come from?
New construction.
New construction, developers and builders, all right?
Absolutely.
So this overall shortage is there for you to be planting your flag as a specialist for the new homes arena. It's not just an opportunity today. It's an opportunity.
As long as you stay in the business.
As long as you're in the business of real estate. All right, number two.
Inventory has increased.
Yeah, so this is interesting. So right now, as we record this, we've seen an increase in inventory. Inventory now between both new homes and existing homes is at a higher level than it's been for quite a few years. Now, to put it into perspective, many years ago, we first started in the business, a normal market was somewhere in the range of 5 to 6 months of inventory. Right now, in the markets with the most inventory, they're saying, hey, we may have as much as 60 days, 75 days of inventory. So it's still not dramatically, even close to what used to be considered normal. But the point is the inventory has increased, which means more sellers of existing homes have come back into the market.
Sure.
It also means that many of the builders who have been working really hard to increase their production have been able to do that, right? There was a shortage, there was a backlog because of developed lots.
Yep.
Developers picked up the pace. Builders started doing something called land banking, the big builders. And that's a topic we'll talk about in another video, but all good stuff to help that inventory. Now, what's happened at the same time, interest rates have increased.
Yep.
And that affordability factor has been a challenge. Okay.
Very challenging. Okay, so let's look at number 3. So despite more competitive inventory and higher interest rates, builders have to keep selling. They have to pay their bills. Building and selling is what they have to do to keep the lights on and dinner on the table.
That's it. That's absolutely it. So when you think about it, in terms of builders, that's their business, right? An individual seller has a home up on the market. Let's see if it'll sell. They put a price on it. We'll play around with the pricing a little bit. We can always come down. We can always take it off the market. Now, some people have to sell. And so we're seeing what's happening in some areas of the country where prices are coming down a little bit. People are taking offers where we used to have multiple offers, right? Not too long ago.
100%, especially around here, yes.
Right, but back to the builders. The builders have to continue to find ways to adapt their product, to adapt their building practices. And so what are they doing? They're incorporating technology, AI, various tools that allow them to increase their efficiencies, control costs. They're fine-tuning the design process. For the first time in many, many years, we're seeing the square footage of the average home going down again.
That's right.
For many years, it continued to increase. And of course, we're all aware that we're seeing lot sizes. We've seen lot sizes for a while, right? Because of land and development costs, all right?
Yeah, no more really a lot of McMansions. Remember? They were just all these massive homes. Yeah, it's not fun to clean those. I'll tell you that much.
Exhausting to live in some of those big homes, right? So, so again, the sellers who use homes, they can sit and wait for the market conditions to change. Builders have to sell. So what's happening? Right now, one of the latest statistics that we've seen is that roughly 60% of all builders, and keep in mind that 60% is probably encompassing many of the larger volume, larger volume builders, full 60% are buying down mortgage rates and or offering incentives. And those incentives, they're typically upgrades in the design center. And I want you to understand very quickly the strategy behind that is the builders don't want to erode their pricing. So unlike the seller of an existing home who says, hey, let's just drop the price $10,000. We've seen big homes up here in Newport Coast where they drop it $500,000 or $1 million, right? The builders don't want to do that. They don't want to erode their pricing and therefore the overall perceived value of their product. So what they do, again, they do the mortgage buy downs. They add upgrades and things in the design center to create additional value. Those mortgage buy downs are really key. They make the big difference in affordability for an awful lot of people. I'd like you to keep that in mind because as a real estate professional, if you do not have relationships with builders, if you're not positioning yourself as someone who has the special knowledge as to how helping someone shop and buy a new home is different from an existing home, you are missing out on an opportunity.
Huge opportunity.
To bring your buyers to these builders who may be offering some of the best opportunities for people to move into homeownership.
I've talked to a few agents just recently, and they were really frustrated with themselves because they had a client they've been working with, and the client kept saying they wanted to look at new construction, but these few agents, they didn't really feel comfortable because they didn't know how to help them. They didn't really understand construction.
People can smell that. They can sense it, right?
They both lost the client, and the client went and bought new construction. And like I always tell everybody, why feel like new homes is a niche? It's not a niche. Right, exactly. It is really the biggest opportunity, which is what Dennis is sharing with you right now. And here, this pie chart he's going to show you right now, we'll show you that even more.
Yeah. And so what's number 4, kid?
The majority of buyers today desire a brand new home.
Exactly. So to your point, many people in real estate think a new homes is a little niche. Many people in the business think the only opportunity I have is maybe to represent a builder, sit on site. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't want to get tied down. I still want to run my resale business. That's not true at all. We have so many success stories, top producers out there who've blended new homes into their business. And I like the way you describe this when you're adding this new homes to your current business.
You're just turning on another spigot.
Exactly.
Another rev stream, not working harder by any means, because we all have the same amount of time every day. It's just opening up a whole nother opportunity that you've not considered or took a look at to say, you know what, if I add this to my business, I'm going to double, triple my bonus.
So here you are. Here's the spigot of the business that you're doing right now.
Yep.
You've got that going. You've got your social media, your marketing in place. What you can then learn how to do is just turn this spigot on, right?
Yep.
Position yourself in this other arena. Suddenly there's a whole new audience. Let's talk about how important that audience is. So what we're going to show you on the screen here is a pie chart. And this pie chart shows the results of one of the recent surveys. This is done by the National Association of Home Builders. There's other groups out there that do this same survey. It is a survey of what we call active home shoppers. Now, active home shoppers are people who are in the market to buy a home, new or existing, in the next 12 months or less. And I'm guessing you would want to know what they're thinking. We want to know. Product manufacturers, builders, developers, everyone around this industry would like to know what those active home shoppers, right? The folks at the big home improvement stores. Everybody loves this data. So these are very, very important. And the questions are asked all over the board. We're going to focus on one question here. And that question is the interest these active home shoppers have in a new home as opposed to a used home. So new home as opposed to an existing home. And so look at the survey results here. The blue section of our pie, you'll see 22% will only buy a brand new home. That's it. If they can't make it happen, forget it. We'll just stay here in this little hovel, this little dump we call home right now. And we're going to wait until we can make the new home happen. Are you looking to work with builders or help buyers in new home communities?
Try our free new home market analyzer. It's AI powered and gives you the latest local construction trends, builder lists, and price points and other important market information.
It's like having a new homes expert in your pocket, and it's free. Follow the link below to register and get started instantly. We've had used homes. Our dream is to walk in and have something that smells brand new, looks brand new. We can pick out the colors and finishes. And I think we can all relate to how much fun that is, how exciting that is. 38% prefer new, but they're willing to compare. They want to compare both new and existing to determine really what is the best value for us, right? So think about it. In the market, you've got certainly brand new homes. You've got lots of used homes. You've got really old homes. Then you have almost new homes. So people want to see what's out there. They want to see what's going to give them the most value. Now, one of the points I like to make, we talked earlier about how builders production up, there's more inventory and so on. For many, many years, the cost premium between new homes and existing homes, there was always a substantial premium. And that continued to grow for the longest time. It reached the point where in many markets, a new home was a 30% premium over a very similar home, right? Same bedrooms, bathrooms, garage size.
And then you're putting in landscaping on top of everything else when you get the new construction.
Exactly, on the new home on top of that. Now, for years, buyers were paying that premium. You've got warranties, 20, 25 years. I'm not going to have to replace a roof or replace the heating system and all this kind of thing. It's a newer plan. It's in a newer subdivision, so people are willing to pay that. What we've seen is that margin now getting closer and closer. And we were just in a session yesterday with a very respected economist who says his data is starting to show actually the reverse in some markets. Okay.
Interesting.
So that's just kind of an interesting fact here. And that brings us to the last segment of our pie here. And that's 40% of active home shoppers will only buy an existing home. Okay. So they're not interested in a new home. They want a used home. And why would that? What would be the reasons, you think?
Because they just want to move in. They want the landscaping done. They want everything done. They don't want to make all the decisions.
Exactly.
It is time consuming, of course, but people that are building new homes, they are very excited about it.
They're very excited.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, part of this 40% are the HGTV people.
It's true.
They're the people who are watching all these shows. And like you said, they want to be Chip and Joanna. Yeah, we're going to buy this little dump and we're going to we're just going to fall in love more each and every day.
Each and every day.
But you know what? Some people love it. They do. And honestly, that is an important opportunity for many people who want to move into homeownership want to maximize their value. Flippers are doing it every day. And that'll be another video where we talk about our residential remodeling specialist, the opportunities there for you as a real estate professional and so on. But looking back again at these numbers, the net result here is that 60% of all active home shoppers want to shop for a brand new home. That's a big chunk of the pie.
That really is.
Big chunk of the pie. And I think if most of us think about it, and we found by show of hands at conventions, we've been in rooms with thousands of people in the audience and asking them about their focus and their interests. And what's interesting is the vast majority of real estate professionals are focused simply on that 40% piece.
It's crazy.
They're not aware of the builders in the market area. They're not aware of the product. They're not aware of the differences. How do I handle allowances? How do I control costs? Who owns the lot? Who has the insurance? All these things that are not difficult to learn, but make all the difference in your ability now. And what we like to say is that your expertise in new homes, positioning yourself as someone who can help people sort that out compared to existing, it's the bait that brings the fish into the boat. It's like a superpower that allows you to connect with far more potential buyers, right? Now, Tria, what about the interest in working with a real estate agent?
If you think about it this way, have you ever thought about marketing yourself as a new home buyer representative? Intercept the buyers before they go to the builders. Because we get so frustrated because the buyers go directly to the builder. So I always say to the agents, ask yourself, well, what is that? Because if they Google in your market area that they're looking for a real estate professional that specializes in new homes, because that is the 60% of the active home shopper, are they going to find you?
And by the way, the latest NAR numbers show roughly 90% of all active home shoppers ideally want to find a real estate professional to help them through. And in fact, a full 88% actually hire and work with a real estate professional to help them through this process.
Because there's so much to know, but you need to be prepared to demonstrate your value. Okay,
now, why not just bluff? Why not just go ahead and say, hey,
3-4 minutes, Volnar. 3-4 minutes, they're going to know, which is what happened with those other two agents. They could smell it, but they did not know what the heck they were doing.
Well, I remember talking to a woman not too long ago. Oh my gosh, she says, I didn't take any training or anything else. I just started advertising, promote myself as a new home specialist. And I said, well, how did that work out? Oh boy, that was embarrassing. It takes like 2 minutes to figure that out. So anyway, here's the bottom line. The majority of people desire a brand new home. Are they all going to buy a brand new home?
They're not all going to buy, but at least gives you the chance to build that rapport, build that trust, build that loyalty.
Help them through that decision-making process. And again, if they have that interest in new homes, that's part and parcel of what they have to do to ultimately go through the shopping experience and make up their mind on what's the best home, what's the best decision. And you could be right there,
100%.
Right there in the front seat, helping make that happen. All right, what do we have next on our list?
Number 5. Most real estate agents do not have expertise in new homes.
Absolutely. So we just touched on that. The estimates are, based on a few of the different studies and just kind of talking through with brokers and people across the country, estimates are about 3 to 5% of all agents have some real level of expertise in the new homes arena. Yet we've got that full 60%. Crazy, right? And I'll never forget, you and I were doing a presentation. Teresa and I were on stage, 2,000 agents, managers, brokers in the audience. And we went through, showed that pie chart. We showed the 60% of shoppers. We talked about the 90% of those active home shoppers that want to work with a real estate professional. And Teresa looked out and she said, let me ask you this. If Dennis and I were moving to your market, this is where you do real estate. These are your streets. These are your people. And what was the question you asked?
We asked, are we going to find you? If we Google, are we going to find you?
If we look on social media, if we ask around, hey, what real estate professionals in the area are you aware of that are experts in new homes? Are we going to find you? And let me tell you, we looked out at that room of over 2,000 people. Maybe 2 or 3 hands kind of went. And I don't think they were really sure.
They weren't even sure if we were going to find them. But yeah, I think it was just like 2 or 3 out of 2,000 agents.
That's crazy.
It's opportunity for you to differentiate.
Well, exactly. So on one hand, it's so unfortunate that more agents are taking advantage of it. And that's why we're here, right? At the same time, What a wide open opportunity for you to bring something different, to position yourself in a way that other agents aren't. How many opportunities are there in the business of real estate to really differentiate yourself and to differentiate yourself with a majority of people who want to buy a home?
That's
Just fantastic.
Right. So true.
Okay, what's next?
So number 6, more builders today, they want to work with us.
Exactly. And
years ago, it was not like that.
Well, think about it. When we started out,
like evangelists.
We drove around a little Chevy van from city to city, and Tree would be on the phone, and she'd be setting up our next meeting while I was up in front of a room and doing some training and so on. And honestly, in the beginning, it was convincing everyone in real estate, my gosh, there's gold in those homes. Yeah. There's opportunities there. And again, we heard over and over, well, new homes are a little niche and this, but bit by bit, more people got on board. And bit by bit, brokers started to say, you know what, I never realized, but 4 or 5 of my very top producers are all doing something with builders, right? They're active in new homes. And they started to see the pattern. Way back in those days, there were a very small percentage that were willing to pay any kind of co-bro commissions for us to bring our buyers in. We have seen that grow over the years. We have spoken to the National Association of Home Builders Convention. We have consulted with some of the largest builders in the nation and helped them understand how they can work with us. And I will tell you, more than ever before in the history of real estate, particularly the big builders out there, right, are saying, we want real estate professionals to bring our clients to us. You are our most important customers.
You guys bring repeat business.
Exactly.
Repeat business.
We have builders, in spite of what's happened as far as agency and lawsuits and concerns there, we have builders who say, hey, we want to double down. We want you to know that we respect you. We're going to continue to pay you great commissions. Some areas of the country were blown away by the commissions.
Yes.
Commissions and bonuses that some of the builders are paying. And again, if we talked about those market dynamics here at the beginning, we talked about the fact that builders' inventory and the competitive resale inventory is increasing. Builders are doing incentives, we said. Builders are doing mortgage buy downs. They're also really courting us as real estate professionals.
As they should.
As he should. Yep. But I will tell you this. They particularly want to do business with agents who truly understand new homes, understand the builders, their challenges, their risks, how to be an asset, how to help bring the deal together. We hear all the time, all I have to do is just drop them off at the door.
I was cringing. I mean, how can you do that? Would you do that with a friend? Just leave them there, say, you're on your own? That's to look at everyone you ever work with. You want to be there to help them. You can't just drop them off at the door, not even knowing, because that's going to be a reflection on you. If this builder's horrible, they're going to come back to you. And you just don't want any of that negativity for no reason.
And if problems occur, it's not only morally and ethically correct for us to make sure we're staying on top and help people through, but who is going to get the referral business from those buyers if we completely disappear and just let everything happen with builders? So keep that in mind. In spite of that, many agents will tell us this is some of the easiest business they do.
Yeah.
Right? When they're working with great builders, they're working, they set things up properly. It's some of the easiest.
Construction's fun.
It is fun.
It's so nice. You guys get to work houses and see all this stuff. New homes are a huge opportunity, but most agents don't know where to start.
That's why we built the New Home Market Analyzer. It gives you a fast, clear look at your local new construction market and helps you uncover new opportunities.
You have to try it today. It's free. Follow the link below to register and get started instantly.
We have one of our certified new home specialists, and we actually have a video with an interview with him.
Joe?
Yeah, $2.1 billion over 12 years, the majority of it driven by new homes. And he said to us, he said, you want to know something? It's the cool kids. The cool kids in real estate are doing new homes. All right, what do we have next, Teresa?
Okay, number 7, huge income opportunities, which we've been obviously sharing with you.
We have so many top producers. And I know many of you are in real estate because you just love real estate. You love the open houses. It's fun. You can kind of be on your own schedule. You have a little more flexibility. All that's good stuff. But the truth is, it's more fun if you sell more homes.
Oh, my gosh.
More fun if you make more money. Yes. And what is the ceiling on your financial success, on your income in the business of real estate?
No ceiling at all.
There's no cap.
So great. You can give yourself a raise every single month, every 6 months, whatever it is.
As soon as you become effective, your raise becomes effective. I think that's the saying. So huge income opportunities. We can tell you story after story, but the reality is by opening up these other spigots of opportunity, and many people have told us, hey, my production, one guy hit his sales to, remember Chris Harmon?
Oh, yeah.
We were the #1 sales team in the entire area, our company and beyond. We thought we really had it dialed in. Went ahead and decided to take your training, pursue new home sales. In 1 year, we increased our production 238%.
That's amazing.
In 1 year.
In
right?
1 year.
So we have loads of those stories, and we're going to continue in our videos to share those stories and how those folks have done that sort of thing.
Exactly.
All right, so what do we have last on our list here?
And sales drives resale.
Yeah, and I think that's important. It's not necessarily a dynamic in and of itself, but I think it's really important to have on the list.
Totally.
Many people, many brokers hadn't quite thought that through, but let's just talk about this. #1, the majority of people who buy new homes, and the latest estimates are roughly 80% of all buyers of new homes have an existing home to sell. What a powerful way, right? So you're working on a deal with new home buyers. You put that deal together, you're normally doubling your business. If you're working with a custom builder or a builder you're representing, you often have an opportunity to enjoy 2 transaction sides on that new home sale. If you win that listing, in the majority of cases you should on their existing home, there's another 2 potential transaction sides. What a powerful way to grow.
That is, and fast.
Exactly.
And it's that pipeline. What I love is the pipeline too. You know, you can't build a pipeline around resale. So with new homes, you know, if you have aligned yourself with a small builder that has maybe 15, 20 home sites, 15, 20 paychecks coming your way. And to Den's point, you go ahead and also help sell that existing home like the majority of them have. So you're double dipping, which is great.
Exactly. So new home sales drive resales through those contingent homes, those additional listings. How else? We talked about the fact that, hey, 60% of active shoppers want to shop for a new home. 90% want to find a real estate professional that knows how to guide them through the process. When they find you, you're in the driver's seat. Again, it's the bait that brings the fish into the boat. If they ultimately decide, you know what, the new home's not going to work, the timing, the pricing, the location, whatever it may be, let's look at some nice used homes. Or let's look at some used homes that really need some love. We'll remodel them, we'll fix them up, and we'll end up with something that's really almost like a brand new home.
Exactly.
Either way, you built a relationship. You started out by helping them through that decision-making, that exploration process. Ultimately, you're selling them a new home because they fell in love with you and you've won their trust, and that drives business as well. The other thing I can say is there's other strategies. We won't get into detail here, but there's other strategies where you can start to focus on areas where new homes are under construction, where builders are paying co-broke commissions, where in new home communities, it's not that far down the road when many of those people resell and they move on. So farming some of those areas, position yourself as the expert, knowing the builders who have built in there, knowing the floor plans, the models and the features becomes down the line a superpower. One of our certified new home specialists.
You're thinking of Khadijah?
I'm thinking Khadijah Johnson.
That's exactly what I was thinking of.
Khadijah won an award a few years after becoming a certified new home specialist. The National Association of Home Builders reached out, invited her to the convention, had a big event, and awarded her the #1 new home salesperson in the entire nation.
That's amazing.
Super proud of Khadijah. She started out, picked up a few little projects. She was amazing, landed an 800-unit luxury condominium project. Can you imagine?
And in that phone call she made to her husband, let me tell you what happened today.
I mean, hey, did you have a good day? Well, not bad. 800 condos. So she moved in. She lived in one of the condos. She's selling those for years, and she knows everyone there. And bottom line, she said to us, I have such a security. I mean, 800 listings is pretty good security.
Really good.
And not all of us are going to have that opportunity, but she says, here's what's great. At the end of this project, I may take on other new homes projects. I'm not sure. I may move away. But if I don't, if I decide to stay here, I could just open up a little office right around the corner, and I could resell these properties. I know all the owners. I know the project, the property, the floor plans, in and out. I could sell these over and over, probably for the rest of my career.
So true.
Right? So there's some security there. All right. So I hope this has made sense to you. This is the end of our part 1. I hope you agree that there are exciting market dynamics, and I hope we answered that question. Why are there new home opportunities? Why is this important to you in your real estate career? I
think we definitely,
I hope so.
definitely
I think
shared
so.
why there are opportunities in new homes.
Okay, so if you enjoyed this,
Yep.
obviously share some comments.
Yep.
We're happy to hear from you. Subscribe if you'd like, and make sure you watch our next video, number 2,
That's right.
in our series on new home opportunities.
Thank you. See you.